It's summer. The year is 1926. The hottest season can be infamously hot in Italy. So there you have it. Flocks of people flood the highways, rushing to the nearest beach. One of the primary goals of both professional and amateur sunbathers is to keep the body hydrated, or, in the late afternoon, to keep the party going. Thus, Campari commissioned Depero a series of sketches for a vending machine to be placed by the seashore, so that thirsty sunbathers could get a cool sip of Campari drinks without vacating their fighting positions for too long. The artist reworked a few old drawings and sketched the vending machine you'll find in our photo gallery at italianculturepodcast.com. On the top of the structure there is one of Depero's robots. The puppet appears to be sucking Campari from a straw. The straw ends in a conic bottle, a recurring theme in Depero's works. The oddly shaped bottle is probably the most ubiquitous and long-lasting legacy Depero left to the modern world. Fast forward to Sunday 10th of July 1932. Another hot Italian summer. This time we are in Milan. It's noon, the sun is at its peak, and nobody dares to cross the streets whose asphalt is silently melting. A solitary man approaches the newspaper stand and buys the newspaper. He folds the paper and uses it to shield his head against the oppressive sun rays. He hasn't noticed it yet, but on the cover there is a full-page ad, paid by Campari. Apparently, the liquor company hasn't forgotten those who linger in the city while the summer advances. A new product has been destined to alleviate their thirst. It's called the Campari Soda, and it tastes like the cocktail you were used to drink at a bar. But thanks to this new product, you won't need to leave your sofa to have a sip of it. Not anymore. Besides that, there is no need to mix and stir and shake, because the preparation had already been completed before the bottle left the factory. It also responds to a different kind of demand. Valerio Varini.
Siamo alla fine degli anni 20, c'è una grande crisi.
We are in the late 20s, and Italy, like other countries, is going through a harsh economic crisis. As a consequence, consumption is rapidly decreasing. Campari and this company are at the crossroads. Either it drops the prices, or devises a strategy that keeps the profit stable while adjusting sales and goods to the new purchasing power. That's how the Campari Soda was born. It's a single-dose bottle, and therefore is way cheaper than the normal format. This was clearly meant to encourage consumers, even those who were in dire straits, to buy the product. Quick, hygienic, affordable and young, the Campari Soda was meant to be the modern way to enjoy a glass of liquor before dinner. This allowed Campari to offer a homogeneous, controllable drinking experience, while attaining industrial standards in quality control and distribution. So, from a production standpoint, the Campari Soda can be considered a step toward a larger-scale model of consuming premixed drinks. If we look at the changes it introduced into material culture, we notice that this new way of consuming cocktails somehow gave a modern twist to the old aperitif tradition, changing the way mixed drinks were consumed. However small, this change was part of the futurist life, as it was foreseen by Depero. An energetic, hygienic red drink pouring out of a conic bottle belonged more to a spaceship than to post-World War I Europe. Speaking of which, what about the bottle? Is it up to its task? Shaped by the blazing fires of the Bordoni glass factory, this tiny bottle contains enough liquor for one drink. It's made of transparent glass and has no label on it, so that the red liquid shines through the vessel. How can you tell it's a Campari Soda then? Instead of wrapping the bottle in a label, the company opted to emboss its name, Campari, on the surface of the bottle, so that nothing stands between the eye and the product. This whole setup is simply revolutionary if you think it through. You are probably familiar with a caption accompanying many ads. It's printed in small letters, and ad men love to hide it somewhere in the ad. However, it claims something important, specifically that
product images are for illustrative purposes only and may differ from the actual product.
This caption points out how much advertising mystifies reality. The Campari Soda bottle, on the contrary, erases the distance between advertising and reality by making image and product converge. There is no need for a label, no photoshopped posters alters the appearance of the liquor. Here, the product speaks for itself. Thanks to the labelless, transparent container, the most iconic feature is always under the spotlight, in the foreground. When you look at Campari Soda, you don't see a bottle full of red liquor, you see a cone of red. The whole product is that redness. When you pop a bottle and sip its content, you're not drinking Campari and soda water, you're drinking liquid red light. Dynamic, hygienic, industrial, modern, full of light. As the tagline on the newspaper ad claimed, Campari Soda is brewed in one majestic machinery that has been expressly made for it. What is more futuristic than that? The Campari bottle is where industry and futurist art actually come together. Someone calls it industrial design. One thing is certain, the bottle is pretty and functional, and is now part of everyday life. It hasn't reconstructed the world from the ground up, but it's nice to have it there. It's a little fine thing. In the end, who takes the credit for this small wonder? No one has ever found a signed sketch that formally links the Campari Soda bottle to Depero. Considering his effervescent personality and what his art was meant to express, it's highly unlikely that Depero actually drew the bottle destined to mass production. Boschiero.
La stranezza è che Depero non ne abbia mai parlato.
Among other things, Depero never talked about the bottle. If he really was the man behind the sketch, he would have certainly said something. In the end, his art has always been some sort of self-narration. Take the tapestries he made. Each one of them is like a short story, let's say a recap of Depero's life. One narrates Depero's stay in Capri, the others describe his hometown or the Carnival of Viareggio. He even made some references to his past works, such as the Balli Plastici or the Devil's Cabaret. In brief, every piece of art was a chance Depero took to self-promote, so that whoever has looked at his works has been able to recognize his hand, to reconstruct his life at a glance. That's the Depero style. So, that said, it would be odd if Depero was indeed the one who created the Campari Soda bottle and never told anything about it.
On the other hand, Depero has been universally acknowledged as the man behind the design. Why is that? Well, you won't need extensive studies to discover the reasons why he most probably inspired the actual unknown designer. If you look carefully enough, you'll notice that the conical bottle features in plenty of Depero's drawings, from squisite cells to the late New York sketches. Even the puppet on the vending machine is drinking from the same flask. All the traits that made the bottle an icon are already there, except for one, the transparency. No one knows who came up with the idea of removing the label and using transparent glass. It was probably someone from the company, perhaps Davide Campari himself. But in the end, who really cares about who has more merit? Depero? Campari? Neither and both. This was a collaboration after all. Italian Culture is produced by Ars Dicendi. Regular episodes come out every 2 Fridays, while extras come out every 2 Mondays. Each episode is made by independent professionals and it's completely self-financed. If you enjoyed our show, you can help us by sharing this episode on social media, email, mail, telegraph, smoke signals, or any means of communication you find appropriate. Just introduce your friends to Italian culture and leave a comment, a review. Even if you think the show's awful, don't worry, we have thick skin. And don't forget our site, italianculturepodcast.com. There you'll find additional info on each episode, such as a list of suggested readings, images and transcriptions, which may help you understand our broken English. We also share exclusive content on social media. Just search Italian Culture, the podcast, on Facebook. For today's episode, our thanks go to Nicoletta Boschiero and Valerio Varini. We warmly invite you to visit the Casa d'Arte Futurista Depero in Rovereto. A 360 futurist experience awaits you in there. You'll have the chance to pace down the halls where Depero himself hanged his creations. The futurist house is now part of the MART, which is the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art of Trento and Rovereto, which, by the way, is just a few blocks away. To plan your visit, go to www.mart.trento.it.